Okay. We moved to Armidale, so there's a period there that I haven't, that he like took off and all that stuff, and I haven't matched with anyone because I just don't know. I don't know whether he was in the town, he travelled, whatever. Okay, but we've moved. Ended up in Nambucca, and I ended up coming down because he was, trigger warning for entertainment purposes only. And I ended up, because he's like, oh, I'm going to commit side, and so me being the idiot I am, you know, being in love, um, rushed down there. Okay, so I mean that was the beginning of 2021. Fast forward to November the 23rd, 2021, where he tried to KILLED me in front of my children. And that's how I ended up here in Coffs Harbour in a paddy wagon being brought to the Women's Refuge. Now, so I've come here at the refuge. It was a Friday. So Saturday, Sunday, couldn't do nothing. Monday they took me to the hospital to get x-rayed. But it was the day that Coffs Harbour Hospital, the old hospital, was closing, so everyone was in a rush, and they really didn't x-ray me properly. They took one, in one spot. Yeah, I mean, there's way more damage, obviously, but, I mean, they never picked it up. So that was the Monday of that week. Tuesday, I took me and my children to the doctors over at the plaza. Wednesday, we had an appointment with a welfare officer at Centrelink, and we did that. Thursday, once again, I had to go back to the doctors. Friday, it was probably the first can breathe, but I mean, I was highly injured. So, yeah. Then that weekend, and then the next week they had arranged to drive me to Nambucca, and the first place to stop was the Nambucca police station. And the women at the refuge, my children stayed with them, and the police took me to go retrieve all our stuff and my car. So we've done that. And I think that was either, I think that was the Tuesday or the Wednesday that we did that. So then we're in December by this stage, and and I've come back, and I've been here for 24 years now, ever since. Now, I did end up seeing, because I mean his children were there, older children and nephew, like my stepchildren at the time, and I did run into one of the stepchildren, and I said, oh, well, I mean, his mother was there, and after he tried to KILL me, his mother bent down and said, you deserve that. Like, this is the type of people that I dealt with. It was horrific. That 8 years was hell. Being DRUGED'd, I didn't know. I've smoked peyote in my time. I don't understand the hard stuff. Look, I don't. Obviously he was. I mean, I didn't know he was that bad of an addict. He kept it hidden from me very well. I didn't suspect a thing because, I mean, when you're naive, you're so gullible, but, when you're naive and you don't know this stuff, like, you can't tell. Like, I didn't know how to tell if someone was on the hard stuff. I didn't know how. Okay, so I've spoken to the stepson, and he's like, oh yeah, we probably he went back down to Bathurst 2 days later to take Nan back, and I'm like, oh okay, he took his mother back to Bathurst, right? So that would have made him get there either the 6th of December or the 7th of December. One of those 2 days. So, the day before or the night she went missing. Now, it was a white Mitsubishi Magna, as I said, but I mean, in Bathurst, they had yellow lights and it was raining. And, everyone's saying it's a red car, salmon car. No, it's not. I know it ain't because been around that park all my life and I've seen how those yellow lights in rain change the colour. And all these people, all these witnesses and that, all of them are addicts. Like, they know my ex, Mel, my ex. You had that fight out the front of the tavern, a sit-down fight, you in your wheelchair and my ex in the chair, full-on punch on. I walked away. Like, I just thought, yous are idiots. Like, I'd never seen nothing like it. And by the time I'd walked 2 blocks down to the taxi rank, my ex reached and opened the taxi door and jumped in my taxi. As far as I was concerned, and I tried to get rid of him. I tried to get rid of him, tell him to crack off and get, like, I don't want you, like, stop coming to my home, stop, But he wouldn't leave me alone. He'd chosen me because he knew I was leaving Bathurst. I was packing up everything to go. And I was his pick. He chose me because I was leaving. Wasn't love, wasn't nothing. I was just an ends to a mean, and and I was a target because I'd lived so much trauma, so I was an easy target. He chose me. So and when it's raining and with that yellow lights, and if you have the brake lights on it, it actually reflects in the raindrops and changes the colour of the car. Now, I've looked at is it the Rennie report? I'm not sure which one it is, what it's called. And I've seen the photos, and they've got some photos at the front of the, it's the Panthers now, but back then it was the leagues. And I swear one of the cars there looks like his car. Like, to me, they both look like his car. Like, the body shape, everything, it looks like his car. Only thing is the witnesses who were all addicts, by the way, and well known to BH and informants and all that beers, and my ex is an informant and knew BH well and hated BH. And the fact that he came back, when Jessica Small went missing, and he knew BH had that takeaway shop because he's the one that told me about that. And everyone in Bathurst was talking about, BH and Janine Vaughan having relations. Well, that made her a target as far as I'm concerned. Whether that was the reason, but he didn't succeed in killing me the week before, so huge possibility. For entertainment purposes only. Trigger warning, and all that jazz. I've got heaps of memories, heaps of knowledge. There's heaps more stuff, but I'm only picking the 10-minute one so I can get this out there. And there's only so much you can say in that 10 minutes. I know everyone well from that case, and I know the lies, I know the liars, because Mel, I seen what went on in your tavern, mate, with the POLICE. So, yeah.